Okay, hi, let's see. Am I live? Hey guys, what's up? It's not letting me rotate my phone. You used to be able to do that. So, hi everyone. I promised that I was gonna go live for a little quick yoga flow. So this probably won't be super long and I have a couple other things that I have to do before we get started. But if you are going to be joining this, whether you watch the replay or you're doing it live, then grab some water, grab a mat if you have one. If you're watching this live right now, then please drop a 1 in the comments below. And if you're watching the replay, then please drop a 2 in the comments below with the hashtag replay. I'm gonna get my music set up real quick and share this into my group. So give me a hot second. And I also kind of have a headache because I think I'm just like low on electrolytes. So I'm gonna add these to my water real quick and then we'll get going. As you're hopping on, say hi, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'll get our music going. What's up? Okay. All right, sharing this in my group. So I will start this before we start the music. I will let you know that I have never done this before. I am not a yoga teacher by any means. I am a certified personal trainer, but I've never led anyone through a yoga flow, but I've been doing yoga for about 10 years. And that does say, hang on. And that does say nothing, don't let that say anything about my skills as far as yoga goes, just because I've been doing it for 10 years. Not anything consistently, just like classes here and there or like hot yoga and stuff like that. So, hang on a hot second. Let me get my hair right. Okay. I just got off work and I haven't been really working out as much as I would like with all of my obligations, and so I thought if I promised to go live, then this would give me an excuse to show up because I said I was going to, and also because my whole body hurts and I'm just really sore from, I just have a lot of pain right now, and so I thought yoga would be appropriate. So let me get my royalty-free music on. Okay, so hopefully you probably won't be able to see me perfectly during this whole thing because my phone, I'm streaming from my phone, but go into the middle of your mat and we're just going to kind of stretch it out and warm up, wake up the body. And let's do some stretches to the side. Some torso twists. And let's stretch our shoulders out. So come down here and just alternate your shoulders. Find your breath. And we can do a quick back bend if you can safely do these. So place your hand on your lower back. feet hip width apart, and okay, so we're going to start with just like a basic vinyasa and a sun salutation. So I'll show you what that looks like. So we're standing at the top of our mat, and we're putting our hands on the ground, letting your head hang. Just let your spine get nice and long here. Maybe pedal it out, have your fingertips on the ground. And then come up a little bit, gazes towards the floor, palms flat on the ground if you can, knees as straight as you can without locking them out. Come up halfway. And exhaling, coming halfway up again. And we're gonna go down into plank. And we're gonna stay here for a second. And just find your breath. Make sure there's a straight line from the top of your head to your tailbone. Weight is in the back of the heels. And meet me in downward dog. So you should have a strong stance. See if you can get your heels, hopefully you can see me. See if you can get your heels touching the mat, and let's pedal it out. And your neck should be relaxed. And you should feel like there's a string pulling your booty straight into the air. And we're gonna go into a sun salutation and an upward dog. So your calves can gently graze the top of your mat and tuck your toes inward. Booty goes back into downward dog. Get whatever stretch you need here. Pedal it out if you need to. Take a few deep breaths. Float the left leg up. And pull it inward into runner's lunge. I think this is called warrior one or something. And just find a nice deep stretch. Make sure your knee isn't tracking over your heel. And you should feel that deep stretch in your hip flexor on the right. Make sure your hips are aligned towards the wall. You've got good posture. Your chest is up. And we can put your arms out. Have strong arms, fingertips flexed. Triceps are engaged. And then put your left heel by your left, or your left hand by your left foot. And come into a little bit of a deeper stretch. Left foot goes onto the other side of your left foot. And float the left leg back into downward dog. We're gonna do the same thing but other side. Let's see if you can see me okay. Do I need to adjust it? Well, nobody's complaining, so we'll do it like that. Perfect. Okay, so we're in downward dog. And we're going to float our right leg up into runner's lunge or warrior one. So that left heel is still up, active arms. Find a nice deep stretch, gazes forward in that left hip flexor. Hands go down on the inside of the right leg. This should deepen the stretch. Take a few deep breaths here, get what you need. Right hand goes onto the opposite or the other side of your right foot. And go back into downward dog. And we'll do our little sun salutation here. I'm not even sure if that's what you call it. It might be something else. That's okay though. All right, we're gonna float our left leg up. Go back into warrior one. And this time we're going to open our pose and the heel touches the ground and is at a 45-degree angle. And we're gonna take it into triangle. So left hand's gonna come into the inside of the left foot and your gaze goes up towards the opposite hand, looking at your fingertips. And if you can do this, then we're going to go into a bind here. Right hand is going to link with the left hand and just grab each other. Keep your stretch though. We'll be here for a few breaths. And then we're gonna unwind. Arm goes back up, back into warrior two. And then we're gonna reverse warrior. So right arm goes back onto the right leg and your gaze is into your left elbow. Straighten the front leg if you want. And left hand meets the mat inside the foot. Rotate the arm in, back to runner's lunge. Left hand on the outside of left foot. Float the leg back into downward dog. And we're gonna do our little sun salutation here. Back into downward dog. And right leg goes up. Float the leg in. Warrior one. Turn the foot and your body, rotate it. Get deeper in this stance. And we're gonna go right into triangle. So right arm goes down, pushing on the knee gently. And your gaze goes up. And let's take triangle into a bind if you can do it. And from here, we're gonna go into reverse warrior. So first find triangle again, warrior two, and then reverse the warrior. All right, hands go on the inside of the right foot, back into runner's lunge. Right hand goes on the other side of the foot, back to downward dog. We're gonna do a full salutation here. And upward dog. Back into downward dog. Float the legs up or step up. So your feet should meet your hands. Get a nice good stretch in your hamstrings here. And let's find chair. So you should be really engaging your inner thighs here, keeping your spine straight. And release. And come up. And back to the mat. And come up. And then we're gonna do a full, whatever this is called. Okay, let's do some back stuff. So, back into, you can float or jump back into plank. Back into downward dog. I feel better already. And let's just find child's pose and get a really good stretch in here so hips are wide. This is an active movement. You're not just chilling. And because I'm not a yoga teacher, I don't know what this is called, but let's just do a little bit of an inner thigh stretch here. So just kind of spread the hips a little bit more and really get deep in there. And
I'm sure this is something you could use a yoga block for if you want to put your forehead on the yoga block. But if you can get this deep, then do it. Okay, we're gonna do a few more exercises or a few more moves that are gonna stretch our hip flexors and inner thighs because I'm super tight. But in the meantime, let's come back, bring your knees together, and meet me at tabletop. And we're just gonna do a few cat-cows. So maybe you know what this looks like, but it's just converting and then rounding the spine like a cat. And then we're gonna do a few active moves after this. So inhale when you round in, and exhale on the cat. One more. And we're gonna do bird toe, so that's opposite hand and opposite leg. So the leg comes out, opposite hand goes out, and we're just alternating. Make sure your gaze is a little bit ahead of you. This is going to strengthen those back or those muscles that run on the alongside of your spine. And make sure you're really squeezing your glute. See if you can get a little longer. Okay, back to child's pose as I think of what to do next. Let's do pigeon real quick before we get into the back work. So find downward dog for me. And we're gonna float the left leg up and bring it into pigeon. Be careful. So you're just laying on it basically. You can stay here if you want, if this is enough for you. You should be like right on it, not like, I don't know, it shouldn't hurt too bad. Nothing should really hurt, if that makes sense. I mean, it might kind of be like a good hurt, but you don't want it to be too strenuous. All right, come up from pigeon if you were on the ground. And we're gonna go back to downward dog. And float the right leg up. And find pigeon on that other side. All right, so next, before we do inner thigh, float the right leg back into downward dog. And we are going to just do, I don't know, I feel like in soccer we used to call this like the pancake or something. I'm sure that's not the official name, but you could do one leg at a time, or maybe you can't do this at all, I don't know. But just listen to your body. So just slowly go back on your elbows, and this is going to be a quad stretcher. There should be an arch in your lower back, that's totally fine. You can bring your elbows above your head, touching, and your hands can touch your elbows. And if you want to make it harder, you can just bring your knees in together. Okay, So after we've done that, let's get some stretching in. Slowly come up, and we are going to put our right ankle onto our left knee and grab your underneath your, right below your knee, or above it technically, and just do one of these stretches. Your ankle should be above your knee, like I said, and fingers are gripped. And then that right knee, you should be kind of, don't let it come in. Give it some resistance as you pull on your left knee, not too hard, but like just enough that feels right. And then switch other side. You should feel this in your inner thigh, your hamstrings, your glutes. Okay, now this one I'm really looking forward to. Go ahead and split your legs and just come into the middle of your mat and see how low you can get without hurting yourself, please. Maybe that's your forehead to the floor. Maybe it's just your elbows. We're going to do a couple of variations here. Couple more breaths. And now we're going to stretch the left foot or the left side. So grip your hands together like this, like a little cup, and you're going to slowly twist and bend over and hook your left foot into your grip. If you need to bend your knee, you can. You can make forehead knee connection. And you should really feel that stretch on the left side. Or on the right side. I mean, you probably feel it all over, but. Okay, switch to the other side, same grip, bend your knee if you need to get into the stretch. Oh, if you guys are wondering too, I go ahead and bring your right leg in. I wrote a 10-day sample meal plan that is kind of like an intermittent fasting thing. So if you're interested in that, it's totally free. It does come with the 10-day drink ketone challenge, but those are totally optional. So if you want that meal plan, then let me know. Just send me a message. Okay, and then let's do the same thing. Just grab your toes, or what did we do? Peace sign? Yeah. Just grab your foot. And the right leg is touching the right foot is on the inside of your left thigh. And then you can try to bring your elbows to closer to the ground if you want. Okay. And switch to the other side. So left foot is on the inside of your right thigh. Couple more breaths here. Foot is flexed. Try to get your elbows closer down towards the ground. Last chance. Just really feel that in like your hips. Okay, now we're gonna do like a back bend type deal. Ooh, okay. I will say, like, this is my disclaimer, even though I didn't have one at the beginning. If you can't do this, then don't do it. I'm not responsible. So do this stuff at your own risk. So, but if you have done this, then join me. So we're on our knees and we're just going to do a back bend. So I want to get into this. You really want to make sure like your feet are like directly shoulder width, parallel behind you, and you're just slowly gonna get into a back bend, and our hands are gonna grab our heels. So I'll show you what it looks like. You can kind of make your stance a little bit wider if you need to, but back bend, left hand to left heel, right hand to right heel, and then make sure your shoulders aren't like killing you. You know, keep your head out of your shoulders as much as possible. And you can even come up a little bit. Like I said, if you're not experienced, don't do this. Just sit in child's pose. Some people this is really easy, and some people are like really talented in other poses, but for some reason I have a hard time doing this. All right, couple more breaths. And then slowly come out of it. Put your right hand on your right glute, and same with your left. Find child's pose. Okay, what else could we do? Thread the needle if you need to. Let's do a little bit of standing stuff. So let's start with a quick little stretch. Okay, so we are just going to put our right foot on top of our left knee, kind of like what we did on the ground. You don't have to hop, I don't know why I did that. And then we're just gonna sit into this pose and find your balance, hopefully. We're gonna be here for a few breaths. Okay, and just do a quick forward bend for me. And then jump into the other side. A few more breaths. Okay. Now, let's do crescent moon. So feet are together in this one, and your hands come together. Make sure your pelvis is tucked in, your core is engaged. Have good form. You don't want to be like standing like this or like this. Like, just have your shoulders back. Crescent pose. So biceps are squishing your ears. There's no gap between your palms. And we are going to go to the side. This one is really hard for me for some reason. Some people can bend like crazy far. In the past, I wasn't able to bend that far to the side, but I'm getting better. Okay, meet me in the middle. And go to the right side. Okay, grab a sip of water if you need it. And we're gonna do a couple more standing series and maybe like one inner thigh thing. Cobra. That's what I wanna do. Okay, well, before we do that, let's just do a tree. So put the left foot into your right inner thigh, if you can balance, or your costume, whatever you want to call it. And hands can be here, hands can be on your hips, it could be hanging onto the wall, whatever you need. Or you could bring them up. Okay. And switch to the other side. So right foot goes onto the left inner thigh and find your balance. Your knee should be like in one line, preferably with your body, if that makes sense. Just find a couple breaths. Think about what you're grateful for today. We haven't done that yet. That was the whole purpose of this of this yoga session. So I want you to keep your eyes open. It's probably easier to balance in this pose. But let's think of 3 things that we're grateful for. And it could be things that haven't happened yet, but feel what it would feel like to be grateful for them as if it was your reality. Okay, now, what did I want to do? Okay, let's bring your left foot on top of your right thigh, so not on the inside. And you can hold it here if you need to, or you can let go of it if you can. Bring your hands to heart center, or please be careful. Or you could sit into this pose. I can sometimes get into the pose, but I kind of like fall at the ground. And you want to keep your heel on the ground, which I'm not really able to do, but yeah, it just kind of hurts when I do it. Woo! That was better than before though, than I used to. Okay, that was a quick little, I'm not sure what that pose is called, but some kind of tree variation. And let's try the other side. And the right foot goes on top of your left quad. Ooh! And you can just hang out here if you can find the balance. Let your foot, don't try this. If you're still struggling finding balance on this leg, then just stay in this posture instead of doing the variation. Like, that's still a really good stretch. And then if you want to, you can look like 6 feet ahead and you just kind of like fall down carefully. And then your hands kind of go behind you to support you. But I can tell that that's not really a good form for me, so I'm gonna come back up here. All right, let's do a little bit of mat work. You can release that slowly. Woo. And we're going to do pretzel, I think. And so just sit cross-legged, kick one leg out, twist it over the other, and we're just gonna have a good spine stretch here. Maybe a crack. And then you want your gaze to be over your right shoulder. And then you can even take it a step further, bring that straight leg that's out on the ground, tuck it in. Oops. Tuck it in, get back in the pose. So the left elbow is over the right knee, and your gaze is over your shoulder. Oh my gosh. I feel like I needed to do that like weeks ago. And if you can tuck your right hand into your costume. Okay, switch other side. And we are just doing the same thing, but on the opposite side. So you're tucking your other hand into your costume, and you're seeing if you can see yourself, if there was a mirror behind you, in the mirror behind you. Okay, a couple more floor moves. You could stay here as long as you need to if you need to get a good stretch. But we're gonna bring, this is one of my favorites. This is really good for your digestion. So I'm just gonna stretch my leg first. This is not a pose, I'm just kind of stretching my hamstrings out. But let's bring our left leg. So, okay, lay flat on your mat. Make sure your belly button is tucked in so there is no space between your low back and the ground. Your chin is slightly in to protect your neck. And let's grab the left leg. You want to do the full finger grip. Don't grab your knee, grab under the knee, move it away from the hip flexor, and then pull in straight down. Back should be flat, shoulders are on the ground. See if you can get a deeper stretch. Like I said, this is incredible for your digestion. Have some intentional breaths here, in and out. And then I want you to take this same leg and cross it over the other one. And then move the opposite arm, the left arm, out away from you, and your gaze just looks over your fingertips. Okay, meet me in the middle of the mat, back flat on the ground, chin tucked in, left leg lays flat on the ground, foot is relaxed. Grab the right leg under the knee, move it away from the hip flexor and pull back. So your quad should be like resting on your ribs. And you can get deeper in the stretch. It should be an active stretch. You're not really just chilling, like you're definitely pulling. Couple breaths here. And then when you're ready, maybe you need to be here a little bit longer if you're tight on this side. But when you're ready, just pull that, or gently let that right leg fall over to the side. And then your right hand goes out. So good. And then have your gaze just looking over your right fingertips. And breathe into this. You can keep your knee down with your hand. Don't be crazy on it, but that's fine. And then we have a couple more poses left, and then I'm gonna go make dinner. I'm making peanut butter pasta. I'm so excited. It sounds kind of weird, but I'll let you know how it is. Okay, so meet me back in the middle. You know the drill. Flat on the ground, no space between low back and mat. Chin tucked in. We're bringing both of our legs in, and you're gonna give yourself a big hug. So whatever you need to do to make that happen, make sure you're not crushing your knees. You're below your knees. Your grip's below your knees, and we're just gonna breathe here. And it's active, okay? So you're pulling on your knees. You're pulling them into yourself. If you can grab your elbows, or if all you can do is your wrists, I usually just grab my wrists because I've got a lot of thighs. All right, a few more breaths here. Squeeze a little tighter if you weren't actively pulling. And come out. Oh, let's do baby. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So peace sign fingers, your pointer, your index finger, and your middle finger, they're gonna grab the inside of your toe, and you're just gonna do rocking baby. And so this is really good for the inside of your thighs, your glutes, and you can just pull. Anytime you pull to the left or the right, it's just gonna make you rock. Okay. Now, I'm not going to tell you to do this because it's probably really dangerous, but if you want a little extra stretch, so you can just play around, do your own thing right now, be safe. Doing things inverted like this or upside down is really good for your for depression and mood and energy. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple spine rolls if you think you can handle it. Just rocking back and forth on our spine. And then we're going to do, oh yeah, we'll do Cobra. And we'll be done. All right. So flip around onto your stomach. Find child's pose. How long have I been doing this? Almost an hour. Okay. So find child's pose for me. Thanks for staying on if you've done the whole flow. Okay, and then we're gonna lay on our stomachs. This is not the move. And you're gonna have your hands, can you see me? You're gonna have your hands under your shoulders. Elbows are tucked in. There should be no gap. And engage your lower back. And you're gonna go up, like just your upper body is gonna go up, and it's your back that's lifting you. So join me in Cobra. Make sure your gaze is straight ahead. And your hands are not pushing you up, it's all your back and your core. On the exhale, go up a little bit higher. Try to look at the ceiling. Perfect. If you want to do some Supermans, we can do that while we're here. So Supermans are, you're looking down at the ground again, and your legs and your upper body come up. Hold it. And go up, and we can swim it out a little bit. Perfect. Okay. We'll end with Savasana or Dead's Man Corpse. Savasana, Corpse, Dead Man's Pose. Lots of names. Okay, meet me on your back. And I want your heels to touch. Let your toes flow outward. Your lower back is touching the ground. You can move your booty out of the way if you need to. And your palms are facing upward. Chin's tucked in, and we're just breathing here with our eyes closed. Thank yourself for showing up. Reflect on what you're grateful for. Make sure you're on that list. You're the one that has to live with you every day and in this body. So honor yourself for doing something good to it today, for it today. So when I was 13, I learned how to breathe properly in a Pilates DVD. So you're breathing in through your nose, and your stomach should actually expand because you're taking in air. And then when you exhale, you could do a fire or a dragon's breath, or you can just exhale through pierced lips. And then you should feel your stomach going in because you're deflating all of the air. Most of us breathe the opposite. So maybe take some time here to see how you just breathe naturally. Well, I'm very grateful that you chose to do this with me and that you stayed for Savasana. So thanks for joining me. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Stretch a little, start waking up. All right, thanks for coming, everyone. I'm gonna make dinner and I will see you all soon.